We're both off mute now. Speak to
Oh
me.
yeah, boy, I gotta open your channel up.
Yay.
Give you a toasty hosty.
Yeah, boy. And look at that. Fucking this Vez deck. This fucking Vez deck is fucking awesome, dude. It works so well.
And, it says you're playing Pokemon.
Playing
Let's
Pokemon.
go.
That's the only downside of this thing is that you can't set the name. I forgot.
Ah, there you go. You gotta change that then.
Let me do that quickly.
That's alright.
Let me do that quickly. Twitch.
Mystic Mayhem Gaming with the follow.
Yeah.
Just drag Google over my face.
I did just drag Google over guys. It's because I had to set the window.
Fucking great.
Fuck, I went to NATO's channel. I don't want to go to NATO's channel. Give me my channel.
So I was NATO. Sorry, fam.
Sorry, NATO. Let's see. Hashtag Dash and Holmesy. Hashtag Take Your Hearts. Episode 8. Fuck.
Yes.
Yay. Talk shows. Done. Okay, cool. That's changed. Oh, how come it just changed back? Fucking hell.
Oh, did you do it? Did you do the thing?
I saved it, and then it went back to fucking...
Hang on. Oh, no, it's still... But yeah, it is still that, sorry.
Okay, why did I do that? Hold on. Done. Updating. There we go. It should have done it. Oh, no. Okay, now it says it, but it says I'm playing Pokemon Let's Go. But it says here talk shows and podcasts. Fucking Twitch. Anyway, whatever, man. Whatever.
I don't know why it won't change. Oh, yeah, I can see the game now. Yeah, Dash and As We Take Your Hearts episode 8. Well, I mean, it says that. We're not playing Pokemon.
No, we're not playing Pokemon. Whatever, man. I can't change it. It won't let me change it. Oh, well. Oh, well. Shit happens. Let's try
I think there might be a command that you can do to change it. I can't remember.
I'll try one more time. I'll go into the dashboard. Hold on.
Haha, dashboard.
Oh. Introducing VIPs. Oh, whatever. Update information. Can you do me a favor? Refresh your page, check it again, see if it's working now.
Uh-huh. Nah, still. Oh, now it says, hey, just wanted to take another Pikachu. It says the old game now.
Updating. This is a tick there now.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's good. Done. That's right.
Thank fuck. All right. We are good, fam. All right. I'm just gonna quickly do a clap just to kind of signify where I am because we've recorded for about 10 minutes here. So hold on.
Easy as.
Okay, cool. That'll come up in the line. All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Who is in the chat right now? I've got a few people. All right, cool. Hi, guys. Welcome to the stream. We're going to jump into the podcast pretty quick here today. So, Holmesy, let's jump right into it, yeah?
Let's get down to business.
All right, cool. And I'm about to press start on this stopwatch as well. Yeah, I'm going to keep time this time. All right, here we go. Hey guys, welcome to episode 8 of Dash and Holmesy Take Your Hearts. I'm one of your hosts, Dash, along with my co-host, Holmesy. How's it going, Holmesy?
Yeah, pretty good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, not bad. I've actually read the intro wrong. We're actually at episode 8 of Dash and Holmesy Take Your Hearts, powered by 8-Bit and Audio Technica, of course. Holmesy, how you been? How you finding what's going on so far?
We've come a long way. We've come a long way since our last pod or our last episode, and I've actually played the game twice since we've been back here last as well, which you're aware. And I think every time I told you that I played it twice, you're stoked to hear that I was playing it outside of just what I needed to do for the pod. So
no, it's great. I'm loving the fact that you're actually doing that. And even before we started, you were like, since I'm done here tonight, I'm going to be playing it again. So that's all good. I was like, fucking look at this guy. He's getting stuck into it.
Reeling me in now.
That's it. Guys, what is Dash and Holmesy? Well, it's our tri-weekly book club inspired gaming podcast where Holmesy and I will look into some of the hottest titles out right now. We're currently playing Persona 5, or Holmesy's currently playing Persona 5 for the first time. We're going to be dissecting that over the next couple of months. And then you guys get to listen to it and follow along if you like. If you like that, make sure that you follow us over on SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/DashAndHolmesy, and also over on iTunes where you can give us a cheeky 5-star rating. Also available on Spotify. And guys, a little bit of an announcement. This channel is now affiliated with Twitch as well.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. And I'm really excited about that. So, guys, if you want to help myself and Holmesy and even Buddy out, you can click that subscribe button right in the top right-hand corner as well. Anything that goes towards the channel will go back into the podcast as well, whether it is Dash Culture or Dash and Holmesy, whether it's games or anything that myself and Holmesy can invest in and talk about for your listening pleasure, then we're more than happy to, accommodate with that, I guess. Guys, also you can catch us every 3 weeks with our hungry family over at 8bit.net. Also, another thing, this isn't 3 weeks. We are back in a fortnight. We've done this now in 2 weeks because Holmesy got really excited and was like, hey, let's come back in 2 weeks.
Yes, yeah, we did. So I decided, we decided, I asked Dash if it was cool that we could do the recording at least and potentially stream it early, but we can do like the full publish thing, I guess, like earlier. So if you're listening on the pod, if you're on Spotify or SoundCloud or anywhere like that, and you want to hear this earlier, then follow Dash on Twitch and you'll see it go live potentially for future episodes before you actually get to listen on the clouds and Spotify's.
Yes, yeah, and so we're really excited about that too. Of course, obviously we've got some more specials and everything else coming up towards the end of the year and the new year as well. Obviously with Dash and Holmesy, open your hearts in the new year with Kingdom Hearts. There's the keyword. Holmesy's about to orgasm. Yes. New games, new specials. I've got a special coming up pretty soon with Joel Grolton from Anagame, and we're going to be talking about the Persona 5 anime as just a one-off special, which will be Dash and Joel Take Your Hearts as well, but it'll be basically just the Persona 5 anime. Don't watch it, Holmesy. That'll spoil it for you.
Oh, no, not until I'm done, no.
The game, yeah, no.
I'm going to, though. I'd like to watch it when I'm done.
Oh, sick. That's good. All right, Holmesy, let's jump into the game now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Holmesy, what date are you up to?
So I'll do the 8th of the 8th. I am currently going through and I'm at the very end of FUTABA'S, or I say the very end, I'm at the last door of FUTABA'S palace. So
very cool.
Made a lot of progress. I'm pretty keen.
Okay, so you basically like gone through. So let's talk about from the last time. Did you were you up to the date of like when you passed Kanashiro's palace? And you beat Kanashiro, did you actually get to the absolvent date? Did you actually get to like the date where you had to pass, like where he gets arrested and everything?
I did, yeah. So I think we'd already had that because I remember the last pod we spoke about that, and I thought there was much less of a spectacle around this one compared to last time. Like when there's Kamoshida and Madarame, like you see stuff going on with them, and there's this big Madarame is like on this massive screen, like confessing everything he's done. Kamoshida. Yeah. Kamoshida.
Yeah.
This happens every pod. Every
pod we've been doing it.
When Kamoshida was, I guess he was the first person that we take down, but like the whole school finds out about it, and that's this big drama around that. Whereas like Kanashiro, just like, okay, he's gone, and then like suddenly he's turned himself into the police, and it just sort of happened, and then suddenly is it Shibuya? Is that the main area? Yeah, is like suddenly there's like less crime, nicer place, and like it's just. Instead of seeing the effect immediately, it's just like you see, like, the place is just a nicer place to be. So it wasn't some big spectacle like last time, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. So my next question would be, once you pass that, there's a bit of an in-between there. There's a bit of a gap between Kanashiro to Futaba's palace, or Futaba. Meeting Futaba as well. You obviously get some time to kind of grind a little bit and try and meet some new confidants and stuff. Anything new there?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I was not expecting to get Akechi as a confidant.
Okay.
That was I don't know how to feel about it.
Okay.
I don't know whether to like be trusting towards him or whether to be like, like what's this guy gonna do? Like whether he's gonna like turn around and like backstab us kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the same time, who is Makoto? Sai. She's one of our confidants now as well. It's like there's all these people that they're unexpected suddenly partners that you kind of get, and it's weird to see these people that like Akechi seems like he's out for the thieves. Sai is interrogating you, and all of a sudden she's like, I don't know, potentially someone's going to help. It's weird how there's like these turns of character, and that I guess so many people around your main character or senpai Weeaboo. It's strange that there's so many characters around him suddenly seem to want to help him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. He's got obviously this character has a way with people.
Nice, yeah. So you're finding a bit of a lack of confidence in Akechi at the moment. You don't trust the guy, or
I guess so, yeah, because he's got so much. Like he's a detective, or he deduces things from like scenarios and places and people. There's one moment when he actually becomes your confidant that he's like he basically deduces literally everything, and he's just like, oh, it's strange, like everything that's happened points to this group of people that I'm right in front of right now. And it's just like,
Yeah.
you're right, you're
Yeah.
definitely right. We are the Phantom Thieves. You're talking to him right now, but obviously you don't say that. So
Do you find it odd though? Like, okay, this is a good question as well. So, like, if you've become a confidant with Akechi, but don't you find it odd that you are a confidant with Sai Nijima?
I
She's the
guess
one
so.
who's actually like
She
hardballing you.
she's the one that's like interrogating us as well. But then I think like the moment that she sort of clicks and she's like, hey, this guy's possibly actually telling the truth. Like
Yeah.
the more that it's almost like she's slowly coming around and realizing like, shit, there's maybe more to this than actually. She's opened her mind to like the idea that maybe this is real and there's something more to it. So I think that's why I'm sort of. I know her character the way they've written her character seems a bit more transparent too. Like she's going to turn around and like once this whole interrogation's up, she's actually going to help us.
Yeah.
That's what I'm expecting. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
But that's I know that's her character doesn't seem as she's very thinly veiled compared to Akechi. I feel like you can see through who she's going to be in the end.
That's
Personally.
actually, yeah, no, that's actually quite smart. Yeah. So with your relationship with Akechi, actually, I should ask, what rank are you with him at the moment? Is it like just at the very beginning?
Yeah, pretty new. Yeah, so I've made like some other confidants have ranked up. Like Ryuji's maxed out now, of course. I think Lady Ann's like level 4 or so. Morgana's like 2 or 3. Like some of them aren't like super high up.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that I've got Ryuji at like cap, like every time he asks to hang out, I'll say no and start hanging out with other people.
Yeah.
And Yusuke is also a new confidant now.
Oh, okay. So you're fresh with Yusuke as well. Yep, that's cool. Okay, let's talk about your relationship with Lady Ann, because this is one of the topics that we touched on last time, and you were really excited to touch on because you were like, "Fuck Morgana" and all this stuff. And it was funny because I was in your Spyro stream the other night, and you got up to the second game, and Alora, who's in Spyro 2, the voice actress of Alora is actually the same actress that plays Morgana, and I was like, now do you get it? Now do you get it?
No way.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying,
sick.
Pay attention and pretend it's a black furry cat.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even realize that. God damn. Okay. That's cool. I mean, I like that character. So to the voice actor, if you're listening, it's okay. I like that character. I can't. Morgana's never going to gel with me. All right. I'm sorry.
It's all right. All right. So let's talk about, obviously your relationship now with Lady Ann. So have you started like trying to mold that relationship to, like, obviously you want to date out of spite of Morgana. Have you tried to start doing that? Is that
yeah. So like every question that's come up, like whenever there's like a chance to increase my confidant rank, I've managed to usually pick like the best answers. Like I'll usually get like 2 or 3 of like little music notes that pop up when you say the right thing for her. So that's good. Like she asked to hang out, or like it was like we went out watched like a movie or whatever. When I watched a movie with Makoto as well. So there's 2 of those going on at the same time.
I knew that was dangerous telling you.
I know that I feel like there's going to end up being 2, but let's just let it happen.
No, that's all right. Fair enough. You're just gonna die from Sai finding out. Just like, really, motherfucker.
During the interrogation, she might not be a confidant anymore. I think when I started doing the new palace, though, or like when the new mission was sort of given to us of what we had to do, it's like, okay, let's infiltrate the palace and get right in there and get down to business. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then you get a text message from like Yusuke and Makoto and Ann. It's just like, what are you doing today? Do you want to infiltrate the palace? Do you want to hang out? And I was just like, hang out with Ann. Hung out with Ann. Then the next day I hung out with Makoto. And the next day I hung out with Yusuke.
Yeah.
And then the game eventually was like, yo, stop fooling around. You gotta infiltrate some palaces. And then it took me to a meeting with everybody.
Yeah.
Eventually I had to go and make progress, but I wasted a bunch of time just grinding with people. Not in that way.
No, we understand. So, touching on that, last time I remember I told you about that. Every time you make a new confidant and it starts to kind of spark up your relationship, and more you rank, the more text messages and everything you get from them, which is good. I'll ask, have you been checking the map opposite of the text messages?
You're talking about like the map to see where your confidants are, like when
Yeah.
you I have, yeah. So I haven't been going through like and specifically looking to level some of them up.
Yeah.
I did, and I always forget her name. The clinic girl.
Tai Takemi.
Yeah, it's Takemi. Yeah, that's it. I finally got a confidant rank with her because I raised my guts because I ate that massive burger, and
Yeah.
I went to the baths when it was raining. So
Nice.
I finally and I did like the first burger, and now it's like the second burger, and you get like more guts from it.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
a
kind of
thing.
what's happening at the moment.
Good. So once again, I'll remind you of the map. When you go onto the map and you press the R1 button, make sure you press square. Usually when they text, when, at the start of the game, when you start making new confidants and they're fresh, they will text you. And usually that will lead to a rank up on your confidant meter, depending on how many stars you have with them, right? But my advice is, even when they text you, do a double check the map, press that R1 button, and then press the square button. It'll bring up a sub menu on the side, and will show you the card and the name of the person of your confidant, right? And on the card, it'll either say up or won't say anything. The ones that say up is what I would advise you to go to, because they're the ones that you're about to rank up next.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like sometimes you might get a text message from Yusuke and it'll be like, hey, let's hang out. I want to go to an art gallery. And then Futaba won't text you if you become a confidant with Futaba down the line. She won't text you, but she'll turn around and be like, it'll show like a little thing and say up on it. You're probably better off going to her first than actually going to Yusuke.
I'll listen to the messages too, like in the dialogue, in the conversation.
Right.
You've also made me think of something talking about Futaba in a second too.
No, that's right. That's right.
But yeah, I noticed like when you're talking, if you go on like, oh, I noticed my my rank or my connection with this person may grow more because of this type of persona, like the different types of personas you can get.
Yep.
But then if it says like, I don't think my bond will strengthen with them anytime soon, I'll be like, oh no, I won't do that. Like if it says it won't strengthen anytime soon, I won't worry about it. And then if it says it will, usually then that's the one I'll kind of take, aside from the map obviously as well. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about the differences between what you're now experiencing with Futaba, the storyline of Futaba, and the storylines you've experienced in the past with past palaces and everything now.
Yeah, so this one, like all the other palaces have been with people that are, I guess they have malicious intent, or they're not, I guess they're just genuinely not good people.
Yeah.
This one instead, like you go in there and then there's like this shadow Futaba that you see inside the palace.
Yeah.
But it's like when you go in there, like you're in your normal clothes, you don't transform into like, your costumes and like your Phantom Thieves kind of outfit.
Yeah.
Until a certain point, when like you begin to be perceived as a threat, and then because of what you've done and where you're trying to go, like obviously it's not Futaba, like whichever shadow personality that you see is not actually that person, of course. But as soon as the shadow sees you as a threat, you get turned into you go back to your costume, and then you got to like try and make your way through the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's different to be in the metaverse, but not being seen as a threat for the start of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, I expected in the end that we weren't just going to be able to waltz straight through a palace and just take the treasure and be done with it. So,
right, yeah.
It's just a very different approach, not being necessarily attacked by the shadow of that palace, but instead you're just having traps laid out that are part of the place that you're in, and that person's just trying to lead you to where you need to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head there. It was very odd, personally going into the palace myself for the first time and seeing that. I remember, especially, let's talk a little bit about how you land as well into the scenario, because usually when you actually get into a palace, it's like, here you are, right front door, palace is right there, right in front of you. This time around, it wasn't the case, obviously. So.
No, and
it really brings onto Futaba's character as well, of a scenario of being like a shut-in, basically. So not having the appropriate access to Futaba, this is more of a telling story, and I think it's something that this is definitely something that kind of touches the home a little bit, and it's definitely a telling story of people who struggle and try and like progress, basically. And this is done great. Like this whole the way that they perceive it in the metaverse is done great. And
yeah, definitely.
so like the scenario obviously is that Futaba's shut in and you can't get in cleanly or anything like that. As soon as you gain access, I guess, is basically to the Sojiro's house. By the way, spoilers: Futaba's is actually Sojiro's daughter. So this is something also that was a lead-in. See, there's a big gap of a lead-in to actually get to Futaba, basically.
Or adopted daughter, right?
Yeah, adopted daughter.
Yeah.
So how did you find this kind of scenario as well, like the text messages and all this kind of stuff? Did you kind of find this a surprise that this kind of thing was happening, or?
I expected it to be a girl only because, and I pay attention to a few things sometimes, like when there's like repetitive words or notions and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, okay, I can see what the game's trying to do here. Because like every time a character would bring up this Alibaba person, they constantly be like, oh, I wonder who he is. I wonder where he is texting from. Why is he doing this?
Yeah.
Who could he be?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I've seen the word he like 20 times in the last 5 minutes. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be a girl somewhere.
Yeah.
And then eventually, yeah, you're in Sujiro's house and trying to figure out like who this person is, and it's the adopted daughter of Sujiro, and he explains like his whole story. By the way, super great. Love that he is that kind of person. I didn't expect him to turn out to be like some kind of malicious, terrible person, but just like hearing the story about like how he adopted her and like that whole sort of backstory hidden thing. I don't understand why he hid it though, but
you'll find out.
It's cool to see his quality of character come through in that as well.
Yeah. So I don't think I think the story basically was a case of he hit it. Oh, look, actually, I don't think I can touch on that yet. So Maybe I'll leave it. We'll leave it. we'll touch on that later.
I know that there's the whole like, so there's like a I guess like a whole custody thing, and it's like social workers. A social worker came around, or like quote unquote a social worker who actually or someone he owed money to or something.
Yeah.
I don't. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I don't know yet that's kind of unfolding. Like stuff about like government work. There's a strange man who's related to her. So
yeah.
And Sai's trying to like protect, like trying to talk about like custody and losing that custody. So
yeah,
I'm not 100% on all of that. There is quite a lot still that I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm keen on that. I liked how they sort of tied it in though with like Alibaba, and you don't know who it is.
Yeah.
And you think at the first, maybe this is someone that's texting me from MedJed.
Yeah, exactly.
New people. They're like anonymous, I guess. They're like
That's right. That's exactly where they got it from.
Literally, like we are this, we are that. Yeah. We'll destroy evil kind of thing. It's just like we are anonymous. Is like we are. Whatever their phrase is like literally just a Japanese.
We are one. We are legion. Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they got it from that, and that's pretty much where the MedJed thing is from. So my next question is, how are you finding the story of Futaba? Basically, like, was it really confronting for you to understand? Like, you've gotten through most of the palace now, and you've kind of gotten a sense of some of the story that's come through on the palace as well. Mm-hmm. The story of Futaba, was it kind of confronting? Was it something that, you know?
I guess like I don't know whether confronting was the right word for like the way that I listened to it all. Like, I guess it was. There's the way that they tell her story, kind of, it almost wants you to jump to conclusions about like what's happened in a way, and I tried my best not to do that.
Right.
And in the end, I haven't gotten all the way through yet, but like the last thing, as you go through her palace, like seeing the different puzzles that you have to unlock with those rays of light, and then it's like the TV screens, and you see like Futaba's mom is like jumping in front of a car, and Futaba's like on the ground, like, you know, crying or whatever. It's like, I still don't know what that is, but I feel like it's got something to do with like Futaba's mum protecting her or something, or like whether there's something else there instead of like people blame her for her mum's death, and she obviously does too, because you can see the shadow version of her and her real self blame her for her death. Like even at one point, the dialogue of Futaba's or Shadow Futaba is like, "I killed her."
Yeah.
I don't believe that's true. I'm sure we'll find out eventually, but
yeah,
it's there's a lot of challenging themes in this game. I think it's that they've still done it in a really tasteful way again. I think it's really cool the way that they've spoken about it in the game, and I guess like it's almost like a little way of saying like, you know, that there is always a way to get help. Obviously, like the Phantom Thieves are not a real life application of getting help, but it's good. I like it.
Yeah, it's definitely a message, which is great, and they put it in the game, which is good too, because Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the design of the palace, because this is always something we touch on now.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the design of each palace? How are you finding this palace now?
This one I do really like,
Yeah.
and I noticed like straight away as soon as I was in there, I was like, what are all these? Look at all these hieroglyph. These aren't hieroglyphics. These are special characters from a keyboard.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought I liked that. I think that was really cool, and it's like it's. I've never seen something done like this in a game. Like it's such a weird crossover of like Egyptian, I guess like history and legends of Egyptian gods and all this kind of stuff, particularly like the shadows that you fight as well.
Yeah.
But then all that being crossed over with like uh I guess like the tech and sort of like hacking spaces. I've never seen something like this ever done anywhere ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just cool, and it's done really, really well. I really enjoyed that. Particularly like the last puzzle that I did was the binary puzzle. There's like
Yes.
the red, blue, and on off kind of thing. I figured that out because I saw that. I was just like, I don't know how to hack. I don't know anything about coding, but I do know O is off and 1 is on.
Yeah.
And I saw like red 001100 or whatever. It's just like, oh, okay, so it's red, off, off, on. Yeah, I figured it out. But I just like how they've applied all of this into like this futuristic Egyptian space.
Yeah.
This is definitely, I say definitely now, it's pretty much almost on par. It's actually, no, it's my favorite palace. It's my favorite palace, only just past Matarame's.
Nice. Yeah, the design. Look, this is something that I love. This palace, the design of this palace, honestly makes it my favorite. Up to that point, I'll put it that way, and especially, I just felt that the interpretation of what they were trying to explain, when she turns around and says, "This is my tomb" and everything, it's really done pretty solid, and once again done tastefully. And yeah, everything about this palace is just done perfectly, especially when you have to gain access to certain parts of the palace. Right at the start, you're actually shunned off the palace and sent off to like a distant town first to actually collect the key.
Yeah, I actually went because I'm the kind of person that explores stuff first. So
Yeah,
I
I
looked
know.
around and
Yeah.
then I went and looked at all the platforms before I went into the actual palace, and I saw the town first. And I was just like, oh, okay, why is that there? But we can't go there, so whatever. And then later on, it's like, you got to go find this thief in a town. I was like, oh, okay. Walked straight to where that was supposed to be and just went
Yeah.
right in. But yeah, it's interesting that you're kind of like in and out of this place, and it's still not like technically a hostile space for the actual shadow of the palace. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny that we mentioned Spyro before. The thief that you chase around the town kind of reminded me of the egg thief a little bit. How you kind of tried to
Yeah.
How you kept trying to chase it around and you had to trap it back into that little square to kind of fight it there for the key.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny. But heading back and everything, going straight into the palace, and then like you had the great corridor there, which is like, this is simplistic design but bought perfectly, because you have the great corridor. You head in, you got safe room on the left, an entrance on the right, and then kind of like a vice versa every time you kind of go into each door. But this was something different to what the past designs of each palace we had, like in Kanashiro's, in Matarame's, in Kamoshida's. So the past palaces were quite linear. I won't say linear, actually. They were pretty straightforward. You had different rooms and different paths on each one, but this one here was quite straightforward in a way. Like, you had the great corridor, go into one room, do what you had to do there, and then you lead to a path out of there. And then like you have those puzzles at the end that you have to actually like flip the puzzles around. And that was actually quite smart. Like, it was actually quite a lot of fun and quite smart for them to actually think of different ways to actually get back to the great corridor, to continue and actually unlock the paths as well, like with different puzzles and everything at the end. How are your feelings towards those kind of things? Because I know that you can kind of get a little bit frustrated with those kind of things as well.
No, I actually, because I liked I like kind of Shiro's palace too. Like, I liked the way that it felt organized.
Yeah.
Madarame's felt like a bit messy, but I love the design, like the look of it and all that too. Kanashiro's, I think like the reason I didn't like his as much as like Madarame's or FUTABA'S is just like it was almost too plain. It's kind of, I like the symmetry of the whole thing, and like a clean, like guided, like this is where you need to go, but here's the tough bits you got to do.
Yeah.
I like that, but it was just, I don't know, it was kind of a boring palace in terms of visuals.
Yeah.
Whereas like, these two, like FUTABA'S, like I mentioned before, I love the aesthetics of it anyway, but it was just organized to go through, and there was just like, here's the safe room, go down that door, that's where all the complicated stuff is that you got to go through, and that's where the mess was.
Yeah.
All the other the first two palaces just felt like safe rooms could be anywhere, your right path could be anywhere. You've just got to kind of figure out where you need to go, particularly in Kamoshida's palace, and then a little bit less in Madarame's. But Yeah, I really liked it. I'm a big fan of the design.
Nice.
It just felt easy to get through. I say easy. It felt easy to find where you needed to go.
Music. Let's talk
I
about the
like the soundtrack that's in there. It's not amazing. It's
No,
good, but it's
it's good.
I don't know. I haven't heard anything like really like super different apart from like the music when you're walking around though. Like it's all
It's chill
yeah,
though.
it's chill. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's decent. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's better than all the other ones that have played so far. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the point that like from the past palaces to this one, this honestly was the best palace theme I heard up to that point. I really enjoyed FUTABA'S palace. Like honestly, I could sit down and listen to that theme while doing shit. Like it's just a nice chill theme.
yeah.
Nice little. It's got like a little bit of rock aesthetic to it. But it's nice and chill, just chill vibes, and it kind of made you feel relaxed, kind of doing this palace a little bit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, well, it sort of has that vibe even like going into it, like the fact that you don't need to be on guard from the actual shadow all the time, kind of thing,
right?
compared to the other ones as well. So I can definitely see how the music sort of portrays the vibe of the shadow as well.
Yeah, no, exactly.
There's obviously shadows you have to fight on the way through, but it's good. I like the approach this one has.
Let's talk a little bit about. So actually, before I do say this, so where are you up to in this palace? Like, where have you reached?
I'm at the last gate now, like the last large door, which I think I may have just unlocked, but I haven't gone through it yet.
Okay.
Because I needed to go and refill like my SP anyway, because I was like at the point where my characters were all exhausted.
So you need to leave the palace.
So I had to leave. So I'm actually saved. I think I think right now I'm actually standing in the coffee shop in LeBlanc. So I'm just kind of chilling out there at the moment.
So you just got back.
I've just gotten back, like healed up, done my thing, like I think I went and like hung out with some characters, and then I'm just chilling out at the moment. So I got to go back in and finish it up.
Okay.
Still got like 13 days left until the change of heart, so I've got heaps of time to kill.
You've got plenty of time, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I should ask, what have your relationships like? Have you grown? Sorry, not your relationships. Have you grown your personas in any way? Like level up? Have you been fusing them and everything between the last session and now?
I did, because I realized I had about 4 or 5 of them that were actually kind of a low level. So I decided to part ways with a couple of them. Some of them I was just attached to because they were like early game and they were cool and they had abilities that I wanted too. Like they had moves like media, or like there were specific moves like if I decided to trade out, like I've tried to keep every element on my main persona, like what your main character, like Senpai. I've kept as many different elements on him as I can for different personas, that in case I swap out another character that I don't need. But I thought I've got no space to add new guys, so I infused a bunch of them, or I like sacrificed some to strengthen others.
Yeah.
So that's been done. I now have, I think, 5 personas on me, and then space for 5 more.
Right.
But I've just decided I need to be a bit more, I guess, a bit less attached to my personas that I have in my team, and just decide like it's time for them to go, because some of them were like level 15 or 16, and I'm a level 32 now, so I've grinded through quite a bit. You level so much faster here too. I've noticed.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
It's almost like I noticed the pace of this one is that instead of like all the other palaces had small but consistent fights that were quick and easy, and you didn't get much experience, but over time you'd level up.
Right.
Whereas the ones in this one are like less frequent fights, but they're really strong.
Yeah.
And you get lots of experience from those instead.
Yeah.
Hey, Sarah, how you doing, by the way? Thanks for popping in.
Thanks, Butters, for the host. Sorry for the follow, by the way.
Yeah, I've noticed that's it's very different. It's good though. I'm a big fan. I'm liking the pacing of this one and how quickly we level up.
Sick. No, I'm glad to hear that. That's good. I should also ask, how have you found, like, actually that's a good point that you just brought up. So personally, I'm actually continuing my last run. So I kind of took a break from like playing it for a little bit, but I'm continuing it. I want to get that platinum. So
yeah. It's like 400 or 500 hours or something in the game, or
I think I just saved before we started, and I was up to 380 hours now. So
crazy, dude.
Yeah. But I want that platinum. So like, I'm trying really hard to kind of just grind it at the moment myself, and I've gotten to I can't tell you where I've gotten to, but I've gotten further, a couple palaces further. But the thing is, what I've noticed is that I haven't actually fused any of my personas or any of my masks yet, and I should actually get down to Igor and actually do that myself personally, because I'm actually level 62. But most of my masks are nowhere near that, and I need to actually start doing that, because going into like shadows, fighting some shadows. I'm finding difficulty here, like just defeating some of them at the moment.
Well, what level are your personas right now?
I think the highest the highest I have is about 55, but I'm ranging around about 30s.
You can start doing like the triple fuse ones, like the ones that they ask you to do. Because like I've had some come up that are like level 60 something. It's like I can't do that.
Level 60? What the fuck? I didn't even know you could get that.
There's suggested level like personas to like infuse, and it's like I don't have the ones to make it, but they come up and it's like, yeah, you can infuse these personas or like find these three and we'll give you like a level 50 or 60 character. I can't do it, of course. I'm nowhere near that.
Holy fuck!
But there's some big ones if you get the right boys. Yeah.
You know what's funny is that I actually stumbled across new masks while going through Mementos recently.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I had to grind Mementos recently, and I found some new masks, new enemies through just grinding Mementos recently. I was like, well, hold on a second, I played this game like 3 times already. Where the fuck have these enemies been?
That's crazy.
Some of them are fucking powerful as fuck, and I've lost 3 times in Mementos because of them, and like I'm doing the same difficulty as you at the moment. And I lost 3 times to some of these masks. I'm like, the fuck? And then I actually ended up getting killed by the Reaper.
The Reaper? Okay, yeah, that sucks.
So there's been a couple of things that have been happening on my end with it. I'm sure that we'll talk about that in the wrap up episode when we wrap all this up in the new year. But Holmesy, let's also jump into the next thing, which was the thing that I mentioned at the start of the show before we started, which we didn't touch on last episode, which is the 7 deadly sins.
I'm still no closer to figuring out where we are or what this is.
Okay, so the 7 deadly sins, I'll go over them again. Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, and wrath and sloth.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think Futaba sits?
What were they again?
Pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. Yeah.
Yes, I don't know whether sloth is the right one because she's sitting around doing nothing all the time. Like,
yeah, sloth would be the one.
Yeah.
7 deadly sins. Sloth would probably explain Futaba the most. Futaba is the 4th palace, so I'm trying to just like remember. So Kamoshida was lust. Madarame would have been greed. My guess, like my best guess would have been greed because he wanted money.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like I think we discussed this last time too. The Kaneshiro is a mix of greed and gluttony a little bit. But I'd say
so. Yeah.
But he's more gluttony, wouldn't he? He'd be more gluttony.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say sloth as well for Futaba as well because she pretty much is a shut-in and does nothing.
She spends pretty much all the time doing nothing anyway, so I guess that probably fits in the best one because none of the other ones sound like they even remotely make sense or like are right to be attached to it. So up to her.
So we'd probably attach that one to her anyway. So there you go. So there's another one of the 7 deadly sins. That's our wrap up on the 7 deadly sins part of the show. Let's.
I was curious about something. I've got a note here that I want to talk about.
Yeah,
real quick.
Go for it.
I don't know whether this is something that's like a preface for future events or like something's going to happen later on. But I was interested to see Futaba's mum appear behind her in her room. Like there's a moment where Futaba's mum is behind her and like whispering things in her ear. And I don't know whether that's just like, it's not actually her there, but it's like almost, it's like she's just thinking it and like that's the influence, or whether it's the metaverse actually crossing over into our world. I was curious about that because you see her mum pop up, you don't hear what she's saying, but it had that metaverse splash under her feet when she popped up, and you could see like obviously she's not from that world. Yeah. I just don't know whether it was like a
mental
symbolism, like a mental symbolism, like it's like saying that like it's her mum in her head messing with her, or if she was actually like my expectation. Because this is the other thing I have written down here. Yeah. I'm interested about the fact that she popped up there to talk to her. I also don't feel like the final fight in this palace is going to be Shadow Futaba herself. I feel like it's going to be her mum. I feel like she's going to be the one that we battle. I don't know yet. We'll find out.
Yeah, but, definitely. Yeah.
I don't expect Shadow Futaba to be the one that we have to defeat.
Why?
Because the other ones, there's the 3 that we fought so far, and the first one that we fight, the idea was that we were going to kill that particular, we were going to kill the shadow version of Kamoshida, and it's like, don't do that because then you'll mess up, the cognitive business going on in his head. This one, I feel like once we defeat her mum, that sounds weird, but Shadow, her mum, it's going to convince her. We're going to have enough to convince her that she is not the one that killed her, and then that's going to change her Shadow version.
Right.
Because the other thing that Sai said when we were talking to her was something about the hideout for the Phantom Thieves being inside her palace, and if the Shadow version of herself goes away, or like if the palace goes away, the palace needs to be there for that to be a thing. So I feel like it's going to be that. I feel like it's not going to be Futaba that we fight. I feel like it's going to be a mum.
Interesting. Fair enough.
I'll find out tonight.
You will find out tonight. Yeah.
Mm.
Favorite character still Sojiro.
Yeah. More so now after the last conversation I had with him, like the whole idea that it was like him adopting Futaba after everything happened, and he's like fighting to keep her and like make sure she doesn't go anywhere. It's nice. He's a very real wholesome, thoughtful dad persona in the whole thing, so it's good.
Dad persona. Hey, dad persona.
Persona daddy. He's good. He's definitely my favorite character.
That's interesting, though, that you've actually predicted this. So you believe that not fighting Shadow Futaba in the palace would actually be... Sorry, you believe fighting Shadow Wakaba would be the one that you would be fighting at the end instead of Shadow Futaba. Wouldn't you think that fighting Shadow Futaba would actually absolve her? Like, don't you think that what you are seeing is a shadow of her problems, or do you think that the problem is, oh, well, you actually thought that it was the mum. Do you think that you're going to be fighting a shadow mum? Like, are you thinking that the reason the mum appeared behind her was because that's the shadow mum? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I feel like it's almost like, I guess all the negative thoughts that Futaba has about her mum, it's like that's living in her palace. And so, because obviously there is a shadow version of her mum because it wouldn't have popped up behind her like it did. So I feel like that is the real thing, because clearly because she's a shut off, and even when we went to her room, like she wouldn't come out like in real life. When we went to Sujiro's house, couldn't go in, and she was scared of us coming in there and talking to her. Same with like the shadow version of her. As soon as we're there, she didn't see us as a threat until we started saying like, where's the treasure, where's the thing, we need to go and do this. And then she just like shut herself off, saw us as a threat, and then we dropped down through this trapdoor and we turned into our normal clothes, or our Phantom Thieves clothes. So she doesn't actually see us as like someone to kill or destroy. I feel like the shadow version of Futaba is scared of us. The real thing that's there to actually be, I guess, aggressive towards us is her perception of her mum, like the shadow version of her mum is actually in there, and that's going to be the boss that we fight. Yeah.
No, that's interesting. That's actually a pretty interesting theory. All right, fair enough. Let's talk about your social stats. Guts, proficiency, charm, kindness, knowledge. How are you going on those bad boys?
I had a really good start when I played on Wednesday, like 3 different things like leveled up. So everything now is at the least on level 2.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think my Guts is level 2, but I'm trying... Oh, no, Guts is level 3 now. Sorry, I got Guts to level 3 just after I finished playing today. But everything now is, up to level 3. Like, my charm's gone up because of, like, doing the bath thing.
Yeah.
And, Guts because of the burgers and doing... now I can do the trials with Takamaki.
Oh, yep, yep.
I can do, like, trials with her, which is good, so... everything's pretty high up. Like my knowledge is near level 5 because of I mean, I've been doing like a little bit, I guess I've been cheating per se with the exam stuff. It's like, I don't know the real answers to these. Who would know the real answers to these? I'm not gonna guess. So I've just been looking them up online and been like, okay, yep. So I aced my exams. Hell, I'm smart.
Look at this guy just gone through and just going to IGN and it's gone through the
pretty
walkthroughs.
much. I've just been quick lookups for those to make sure that I can get it through and just like get my knowledge up, because the exams I just don't know. I wouldn't know any of the answers for most of these questions.
No, fair enough.
But yeah, most of the stuff is pretty high up now. It's good.
Character progression as well. Like I'm talking like traits and everything through different characters now. How are you feeling towards like let's talk about each of them so far, because you're now halfway through the game.
Mm-hmm.
How are your feelings towards let's start with the first one, Ryuji. How are your feelings towards him at the moment and his character progression throughout the game so far?
He's still cool. He's fucking dumb though. God damn. We're sitting down, like you sit down and eat sushi to celebrate like your success or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is so great, sitting down eating sushi with all the Phantom Thieves.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm sitting here and I physically put my hands in my head. I'm just like, fucking moron, you stupid boy. why have you said these things? And everyone sits up and looks, and it's like, huh? And I can't remember what they say to cover it up, but I'm just like, I had such high hopes, and I loved you so much. You're my brother, Ryuji. I loved you.
But
And
you
he
say
just says
stupid
this stupid
things.
shit, and just drops like all my respect for him is just like, why are you so? I hate you. No, he's still cool. He's still sick. He's still one of my favorites. But like, God, he's dumb.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great character progression, which is good, and you'll learn more about them. You'll learn more about him as you go too, which is good. And as I said, only being halfway throughout the story is awesome, and you're finding out a lot of things, but you haven't found out everything about everybody yet, which is really cool. Let's talk also about the next one, the next person you met, which is no, you technically met her first, but let's talk about Ann. How are your feelings towards her character?
She's cool. I haven't really had too much change with her. I don't think so far. Like when you go out and hang out with her, and you go on like you ask if you want to hang out, like you go and spend time in like one of the parks and stuff. She's like the last thing I think she talked about was like wanting to get into like action movies and stuff like that. So
yeah,
you hear a little bit about like her character and who she wants to be, and she starts telling you more about herself.
Yeah,
which I think is really really cool. And she it's almost like she wants to be outgoing, but she hasn't really had the confidence to do so because of like her past and all that kind of stuff. So
right.
I like her character more now. Like I think that she's not one of my favorites, but she's definitely like up there, at least like, you know, one of like top 3, top 4 like favorite characters.
That's right.
Makoto on the other hand, like in terms of like the relationship side of things, like she's almost like she's got this really strong resolve, and like she knows what the right thing is to do, but she never acts on it, or never really did.
Yeah, I
until
agree.
she started hanging out with the Phantom Thieves, and like now that there's so much support from that group, like everything that she's almost like coming out of her shell.
Yeah.
Like what was one of the not dates, I guess, like when you go and hang out with her or whatever.
Yeah.
You go to the arcade, and she wouldn't have done that unless she was with someone else, and like you're hanging out with her, and she gets caught up playing like arcade games, and she forgets that you're even there because she's like ducking and weaving, getting caught up in arcade games, and like sort of loses herself. And same way you go on the movies, and she's watching movies that she wouldn't watch by herself.
Well, her character's kind of prudish, and you kind of like would understand why somebody like that wouldn't hang out at like a social gathering or something, because they'd be kind of not they're introverted, but not to the point where they're socially awkward, but just not enough to actually go out and hang out. They're the nerd. They're the ones that nobody wants to be friends with because she's the school council president, and it's like, you're the nerd, I don't want to talk to you or anything like that.
Yeah.
So she has problems making friends because she's the suck up, but really doesn't have the intention of that. She just wants to be the best person that she can be.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what makes her character great. We skipped one. Let's talk about Yusuke. I love Yusuke, but yeah.
He's cool. I like who he is, but we don't know very much about him. I think the last interaction I had with Yusuke was him in we went to the metaverse to paint, which was so foreign to me. It's just like you never think to go there to do something leisurely. But we go to oh gosh, what are they called again? Mementos. We went to Mementos to paint. And you get the ability to make duplicate cards of skills, which is pretty cool. Like if you've got like say you've got a card of like the highest ability, like you've got like Mabufu, like a really good like ice damage attack. You can duplicate the card, but as a weaker version of it, kind of thing. That's
correct, yeah.
Which I think is really cool. Like I like that ability, but it was just such a weird way to get to like, here's how you unlock that.
Yeah.
He's very it's a very eccentric character. He's cool. I like him. Like I like his attention to detail, and like the way that he thinks about things is just completely out of the box compared to every other person.
Yeah.
But I haven't learned too much more about him aside from obviously everything we find out through the Madarame story. So I feel like there's almost not much more to learn, but I'm sure there is.
Yeah, there will be some stuff as you said. You just unlocked him as a confidant, so you will learn more. The good thing about unlocking them as confidants, these characters, you will learn more about their story as you progress further, whether it is just personal stuff or just social stuff or anything like that. You will learn more about their character and their story and how it actually relates to the main campaign story as well, and why some things that you have to actually do in these confidant ranks to actually progress further in the story as well. Which brings me to Mementos. How have you been grinding it? Like, has it been okay so far, or?
I haven't, but I'm actually planning on doing that as my next step. So I've been focusing on the palace because I wanted to. I was hoping I'd actually finish it by today's pod, but I didn't quite get there.
No, I knew you wouldn't, but yeah.
I'm real close though. Like I know I'm right at the end of it, or at
Yeah.
least I think at the end of it.
Yeah.
But I was hoping to have it done by today. But I know like by the time before I finish it, or at least when I finished it, my next plan is just straight to mementos.
Yeah.
I'm either going to do mementos before the fight. Actually, I might even do that now I think about it. I'll probably grind mementos before I go to the final fight, because then I know I'll be either ready or more than ready for the actual final fight, whatever it might be.
Cool. No, that's actually pretty smart. So another question on that is mementos. Have you been noticing the changes again? Have you been noticing that it's getting bigger as well as you keep going?
Yeah, so like the last time I went in there, I think like I'd unlocked a new level. It's kind of, I know this is absolutely not the same kind of game. This is a completely different game.
Yeah.
But Stardew Valley, it reminds me of Stardew Valley.
Okay.
There's a space in Stardew Valley you can go and mine, and the more that you mine, like you start off on like level 1 through to 10. Like once you go like levels 1 through to 9, you can't fast travel there, or like it's every fifth, sorry. 1 through to 5, 1 through to 4, you can't fast travel, sorry. But then once you get to every 5, 10, 15, 20, like every fifth level, you can quickly elevate it down to that level and hang out and mine, farm more stuff.
I'm learning stuff.
The further, hey?
I'm learning. Go on.
The further you go down in that mine space, the further down you go, the more I guess the stronger your enemies become, the more cool loot you can find.
Yes.
But the further you go down, the more vastly expands. It's strong, like stronger enemies. Everything's harder as you go further down.
Yeah.
And mementos, obviously, it's a very different sort of style. Like it's obviously very distorted, and obviously, the further you go down, the more distorted it gets.
Yeah.
And the further down you go, the more difficult it gets as well. So I'm noticing that definitely. Yeah, I haven't gone too far down though, but I would like to. So I'm going to go back in there. I just realized that it's such a great place to grind for, like, you get more money, so you can buy better weapons, quick experience. And I guess like you get to help like grow the fan site kind of stuff too. So obviously people know that you're doing like a good thing too.
Yeah, actually, that's actually another one. Mishima.
Mishima. Oh yeah, I went out with him as well because he thought that he's like talking about this unusual character that like goes to like this space museum and talks out loud about things all the time.
Yeah.
It's fucking Yusuke.
Yeah.
That made me laugh. I saw that and I'm like, you think this weird guy is one of the Phantom Thieves? Or like one of the Phantom Thieves is the weird guy you think it is, and Yusuke is just a space cadet. That's all. He's just an unusual dude.
I love it.
But then you sit down and watch like a performance or like a show thing together.
Yeah.
And like both of their levels go up, or like they both like what I said. So got something out of that, which is good.
That's great.
It was just funny. He's an interesting kid.
Are you up to are you actually up to date with how many levels down you are in Mementos at the moment?
I think I'm having a stab. I might be overshooting it, but maybe the seventh.
Wait.
There's different increments, isn't there?
That's
like,
right.
You go down like different layers.
Well, each time you defeat a boss, you get to unlock the door. You get to open the door at the bottom.
I can't remember now. Then I don't want to guess. I might not quite be there, but I know I'm pretty far down. Like at least there's like 4, I think maybe 4 like sections down, if that makes sense. Like there's like different blocks.
Yeah.
As you go down, maybe like the 4th section down.
Yeah, you're only halfway.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good then. At least I'm up to speed with where I'm at the moment. Then that's good.
Just be warned. As you keep going further down, it gets longer and longer. Each floor gets longer and longer.
I haven't come across the
Reaper
yet. No, but I'm sure. Obviously, the further down you go, the more frequently, or I guess
of a
the
chance
he spawns. I feel like the chance is going to go up the lower I go. But fortunately, because I'm on that difficulty, there's less chance that I'm going to get beamed and then lose my progress, so I can just restart that fight, or like restart prior to the fight. That's good.
Yeah, no.
I've got one more note here. I really want.
Yeah, please go. I was going to ask you any other notes have you got for yourself?
This is the last thing I have written down, but I am keen to see what we get to do with Futaba in the future, and like what we're going to do, or how she's going to help.
Yep.
Because obviously there's Medjeb, which is the group that we can't really do much back against, because they seem like they're kind of like a hacking, or like they're an online kind of organization sort of thing.
Yeah.
Clearly Futaba's got a role to play in that, because she is quite smart at what she does.
Yep.
And the whole pyramid has got hieroglyphics of special characters all over it. So she's clearly a computer savvy person. She's also on the cover of the game. which I noticed straight away. I was just like, okay, Futaba, is she going to be? Yeah, she's going to be a special character. As soon as I saw she's on the cover, I'm just like, she's an important character. She's going to stay. I'm curious about what role she's going to play, but I feel like while we're working with her, something is going to come out about who we are, and Sujiro is going to find out. Because we're obviously going to be working with Futaba, so I'm curious about how thin the ice is that we're treading on if we're working with Sujiro's daughter on Phantom Thieves work. I think that's quite is literally close to home because it's around the corner where he lives, and yeah, there's a lot of risk there. Hopefully for high reward, but I'm curious to see how that relationship plays out and what repercussions it has.
How far into the game do you think that'll happen?
Palace 6 or 7, like between 6 and 7, somewhere in there. I'm having a stab at that because I think I might not be right, but I feel like the 8th palace is where this is all like where we get caught. I feel like that's what we're in, like the palace you're hopping around at the start of the game. I feel like that's the palace where we get apprehended by the police and then we get pulled out of the metaverse kind of thing. But who knows? Who knows? I will find out at some point.
Wow. Now, fair enough. That's actually a pretty bold prediction. And it's actually a pretty bold prediction that you're making about Sojiro as well. Would you be shocked if it didn't happen?
If you didn't find out?
Yeah.
I would be. Yeah, I feel like something's going to come up and he's either going to find out or like not. He's either going to find out and know what's going on, but he doesn't know anything about the metaverse. So I feel like he's going to be like, what are you doing? Why are you keeping secrets? Tell me or I'm going to report you and get you sent back to, juvenile, whatever it is, like get you kicked out of here.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
I feel like it's going to be he confessed his story or like his secret that he kept. So I feel like we're going to do the same. But yeah, I don't know. I've made a lot of predictions today. I don't know how many of those are going to be right, but
any other bold predictions you got for yourself?
Everything I've said so far is the most predictions I can make.
No, that's all right. That's fair enough. Holmesy, that's it for today.
Easy as.
Yeah, I'm so I'll put it this way. I'm so glad with your progress. It's been awesome to talk about like how far you've come so far, and now that you've made it halfway through. Actually, question, because we are halfway. How are your feelings towards the game now?
I like it. Yeah. I'm gonna say it's the epitome of like just like past the hump and everything's downhill from here. Like the start of the game was such a struggle. I felt so shit complaining about it all the time. I was just like, man, fuck this palace, blah, blah, blah. Go back and watch. If you haven't listened, go and listen to the first part.
Episode,
if for some reason you've skipped that and just listen to me complain about the first palace. I hated that palace so much. But now that it's done, like everything's so much better. Like the game it's just the best. It's like the perfect kind of snowball effect. Like it's just everything just kind of speeds up, more happens, it gets better, and the game gets faster. And it's just it's been a fun time ever since like maybe halfway through Madarami's Palace. Has been great.
Well, the thing is, I'll never forget dropping off that game to you that day back in April and saying to you, here's the game, play the game, we're going to do the podcast, and just get past the first palace. And you were like, and I'm just like, get past the first palace. And trust me on this, man. And you're like, and I remember talking about the first palace through, because I had a look, because I asked you last episode when you thought that our first episode was, and you said it was April. You said it was about June. I said it was April. It was actually May 17th. But we had started this project in April. And when I gave you the game and you were like, oh man, this fucking palace, this palace. I'm just like, dude, get past it. You will love it. Trust me, you'll love it. And yeah, I'm just so glad that you actually made it over that hurdle to get to this point. You're actually now halfway, and we're talking about this game now, and you're like, dude, as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna go back on it tonight and finish this palace. I'm like, am I talking to the same guy that wanted to play this game that didn't want to play this game at the start of the year?
I mean, I realize now after today as well, like I was worried that playing the game not before that, like usually for the pod, whenever we're going to record, I'll play the game on the day and make my progress then, so it's all fresh in my head. But I realize now I can play several times in the week and I'll remember it all well. So I'm going to play it like whenever I can. Whenever I have an opportunity, I'm going to make progress and get through it. So we can hopefully wrap up by the end of the year and we're ready for Open Your Hearts on January 29th.
Yeah. I was going to actually ask, you're not finding it to be a chore, are you, to actually keep going through this?
if I was finding it to be a chore, I would have only played the game once this week.
Yeah, no, fair
I
enough.
think, yeah. I am enjoying playing the game so far. It is good. Yeah.
No, that's good. I'm glad to hear this, dude. It really it's awesome that you're actually enjoying it. So there you go. Also, to our listeners out there who have PlayStation Plus, right now there's the Black Friday sale, and guess what's on sale?
Oh yeah,
Persona 5 is on sale. I think it's $30 Australian. It's $20 US at the moment.
It's not bad.
Jump on it, guys, because it is awesome. Like, that's a steal. And so is like Horizon Zero Dawn and all those other top tier games at the moment. So make sure that you guys check that out. I'm not paid by, we're not sponsored. We're not paid by Sony or Atlas or Sega or anybody else. But guys, like, these are games that you should totally check out, and especially Persona 5. Such an awesome game. So, Holmesy, that is it for the halfway mark.
Oh damn! Yeah, it's hard to believe it's already halfway, but we're making some quick progress.
Yeah, dude. I can't wait to talk to you in a few weeks about the next part of your Persona 5 journey. So, guys, that is it for this week. Be sure to catch Holmesy on Twitter at HolmesyIn5. You can follow me on Twitter at DashGamers. Make sure you follow Dash and Holmesy on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/DashandHolmesy. Also on iTunes, where you can give us a cheeky 5-star rating, and also on Spotify, and now on here, right here on Twitch, where you can give us a subscribe, which all, what is it, proceeds, funds, or whatever, like that kind of deal, whatever it is, the bucks, whenever the bucks fly through, it goes directly back into the shows, guys, so that we can progress further with the show, make it look nice and fancy, or even get some more titles that you guys want us to actually cover and do a book club style on those kind of titles there as well. Those will go towards Dash and Holmesy and Dash Culture for sure. Guys, you can also catch us every 3 weeks with our hungry family over on 8bit.net. Be sure to catch also Buddy Watson and I on Dash Culture, where we dive deep into the nerdy pop culture news that you guys want to hear about. That's it for this week. Holmesy, this has been great.
Yeah, we're on a roll.
Yeah,
it's good.
We are.
I'm excited.
Guys, we'll catch you guys maybe in 3 weeks or maybe even sooner. But until then, much love.
Stay hungry.
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Mr. Buttersocks, to answer your question, I don't think he does.
I don't.
Do you not Stardew?
I do not Stardew.
Good time. Get on the Switch and you can play out and about. It's a fun game. You'll definitely have a time.
I'll definitely give it a go. I'll definitely give it a go when I get some time. By the way, stop your audacity.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Chaotic Films, thanks for popping by the way. Appreciate you popping in.
Thank you for everybody who popped by. Thanks Butters for the follow. Thanks Mystic Mayhem Gaming for the follow. Thanks Chaotic for stopping by. Thanks, how do you say that name?
Which one? Shrive?
Shrive. Thanks Shrive for popping by as well. Really, really appreciate you guys stopping by and catching myself and Holmesy on this podcast adventure. Yeah, that's pretty much episode 8 of Take Your Heart. And like we said, you can help us out by following and subscribing and everything else. That'll go directly back to the show if you do. I'm trying to think of something else. No, that's pretty much it. Also, I'll quickly mention the Dash Awards will be coming this Saturday as well. The public voting will be live Saturday at midnight, like 12 a.m. Saturday. Shanna Brand, is one of you two Wiener Stanley? I don't even know what that means. Anyway,
who's Wiener Stanley?
I don't know what Wiener Stanley is, to be honest. But guys, until next time, we'll see you very soon. I'm probably stream later tonight. Holmes is going to go play some more Persona 5.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, boy. But until then, thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Catch you guys.
Chef, should I be? Please don't take off my